Let's get part 2 started. This is the YouTube Playlist Spy Application Development Series. Just something that I wanted to do to cap off the August Final Farewell Extravaganza, just to see how poorly the whole event was received by the people of YouTube. And unfortunately, YouTube's options for doing that aren't exactly what I'm looking for. Plus, you have to actually be the owner of all the videos to see information about videos in a playlist, so I figured why not create an application that does pretty much exactly what I want it to be able to do and displays things the way I want it to display them. Plus, it will work for anybody who wants to view any playlist. I'll be releasing this application when it's in a releasable state. But for now, I'm just going to be recording several videos, and I don't know when they're going to go live. I really don't know. Just doing this because it's one of the few things left that I need to take care of first. So this is what I'm going to do. Not really in the mental state of mind conducive to application development, but I'm going to make the best of what I've got left, which is basically nothing. I'm really diving deep into what remains of my humanity to try and get this done. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to be setting up the MVVM structure of this thing, and I do have access to an MVVM framework in here somewhere. Resources, or maybe I don't. Like this, the toolkit is basically here to give you additional WPF controls, and I don't really think I'm going to need any of those. Oh, here it is. MVVM Lite is what I was thinking of. Apparently this is what I have is for Visual Studio 2013. I'm using 2015. So let's get this set up. I'm going to need some folders to keep myself organized. What am I doing here? Going to the project. I should create a shortcut to add a new folder, but whatever. So model. View model. In the view. And I can move this main window into here. I need to change the namespace though. See if we can just automatically fix this. Cannot. I need to see the actual generated code. It's been a while since I've done development in C#, several months. And so I'm a bit rusty, but I did do like a practice project earlier, so be able to make this happen. Like I need to see the other file for the main window. I don't remember how to get there. I'm talking about the file where it generates, Windows automatically generates the, like a event handling and hooking up all that stuff. No, no, no. I didn't need you to open up the grid.cs resharper. Thank you. All right, so let's just undo this then. Just put it back. Really, this should be in the view folder, but I don't remember how to get to the damn thing, man. Like, I was able to do this here. Make this change. I'm going to be referring to my YouTube thumbnail grabber application. I'll demonstrate here. This is when I created YouTube parse 4 in the first place. So we need a URL. So let's copy this URL. And there's some broken playlist functionality that I never finished. That's why I initially created all that YouTube playlist parsing in YouTube parse, was because I was hoping to be able to download every thumbnail in a playlist, but I never got that working properly. This is what it does. It just gets the thumbnail, and it's a full... I guess that's another thumbnail I downloaded previously. That's actually an ASMR artist. Her name is Diddy Bandy. I really have to make use of ASMR because I've had tinnitus, and so I can't ever really just have complete silence, and so a lot of nights I have to use headphones. Have my headphones on while I'm trying to fall asleep because I can't. If it's too quiet, I get the ringing in the ears, and so I make use of ASMR. And I also have made use of ASMR even before I got the tinnitus. Like when I was editing, spending hours and hours sitting down editing like a Red Pill review, I would have ASMR in the background, and you don't really listen to what they're saying or anything. You just sort of listen to the sounds and the tones, and it just fills your ears with some background noise that's kind of nice and soothing. And I'm actually listening to some right now. I'm not listening to music in this video. This is Visual Sounds 1. And she's someone who likes like comic books and anime and that kind of shit. I guess she's drawing some Ninja Turtles stuff because she saw the movie that came out last year. She's inspired to make some drawings. But anyways, back to this. So this is the application that I've spent most of my time developing. This is the first thing I did on my own original idea. There's really nothing else like it that I've seen on the internet. And I spent just scores of hours working on this, trying to make it decent, and it's still in a basic form, and I kind of stopped working on it, but it's good enough that I'm kind of proud of what I managed to accomplish here. And this is what I created the YouTube. Actually, this YouTube parse, all those classes were actually a part of this project. Then I realized, hey, I've programmed this all well, so it's not all. It doesn't rely on the actual YouTube thumbnail grabber functionality for this particular application. I can just split that out into its own class library, and so YouTube parse is also the first class library I ever made. And it turns out that by using the principles that I learned as I was learning C# about making things not be tightly coupled and making things kind of be able to stand on their own rather than dependent, I was able to move out all of these things here into their own YouTube parse library. And so I'm going to have to be referencing this project because I don't remember absolutely everything about how to do every little thing. So I'm going to actually try and make this in the view. Look, because I was able to do it there, I should be able to figure it out here. So I'm going to have to change this to view.main window. I need to go into here, change the namespace to .view. Oh, that's actually what I was missing. That's all I was missing was in the XAML, I needed to change the class here. So let's just make sure this runs. Doing the first build. And it looks like it blew up. Cannot locate resource main window.xaml. Okay. I think I know why. I need to go into the app. Yep. And change the startup. View / stuff. Alright, so there we go. I'm rusty, but I'll get this stuff eventually. Let's rebuild it so that this can stop being broken. I just need to click reload, okay? Alright, so that's set up. So what we're going to need is to create a view model app next and hook that up. A new class. And I guess I'll just call it main window view model. I'm not going to be using any other view models, but I think it's something I should get in the habit of doing, even though habits are kind of irrelevant at this point in my life. All right, so there we go. Now this is a part that I always forget how to do is, well, maybe I can figure it out. So we need window, resources, and we need to do view model, which actually has not been included up here yet. So let's do that. Actually, I don't need to do that yet because ReSharper can do it automatically for me. Okay, so there, it automatically figured out what I needed it to do. And I forget the rest of the syntax, so let's just not try and be clever, just look it up. View model x key equals view model. Okay. Actually, no, not view. I need view model. Is main window view model. Let's just change this to view model. If it builds, it does not. Oh. Got to change that as well. Name view model does not exist in the namespace. View model? Oh, it's called type view model. Okay. Yeah, that's what in this, I just call view model. The key will just be view model. So this reference, so we're grabbing the namespace view model, and we're enabling ourselves to use that in the XML here as view model. And so we're going into the view model namespace, looking for the class called main window view model, and then we're giving it a key so we can access it in the rest of the window as just view model. So probably set the data context of the grid for now, just to the view model. And that will allow me to bind things to the view model. All right. So the next thing is to I guess the logical thing to do is just start doing some stuff with the UI. So I'm going to actually use Blend. I spent several hours learning Blend this past spring. And I learned it so that I could make this application. This is my second original application that's worth a shit. I've done some minor things previously, but this is advanced 3D vision configuration. And the purpose of this is to make it easier to access some of the 3D vision configuration options that you can actually only get by manually editing the registry. So this is designed to make that easier, and I also did a lot of work on the interface to try and make it match up with the interface for the NVIDIA GeForce Experience application. I never got around to finishing it, like this border and everything. That needed to be customized, but I never got around to doing that. And see, I wanted to make it look just like this application. And to be able to do that, I needed to use Blend, because Blend is very powerful at doing that kind of stuff. Let's open up my project, YouTube Playlist Spy. And it's going to show me the same window once it actually loads. It's using a lot of CPU right now. It'll load eventually. Is it loaded? Okay. For some reason it was in assets and I couldn't figure out what was going on. Okay, so here is what I've got so far, and there's not much really going on here. The first thing I want to do is set the background of my window. I'm going to use a brush, menu control key or something like that. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's called control menu key. Let's see, what did I use here? Menu color key. Which for some reason is not showing up. Alright, so let's go into the XAML. I want 2 up. Except I prefer it swapped like this. Okay. So I can access it here. And I don't know why it's appearing as black. And I don't know why it crashed either. Not a valid value for property background. Okay. Let's just copy this. Oh, because this is actually a color rather than a brush. It needs a brush and not a background color. So I understand what's going on there, but let's just be lazy and do it like this. Save that so we can reload it here. And I don't know why it's appearing as black. Don't get it. Alright, so let's ignore that for now. And let's create things for the user to use. So we're going to need a text box. Not a block. At least not yet. Here's a text box. We'll call this the URL input. And I'll set like grid and everything once I get an idea of how I want this to look. We're going to need a button. And I can use some nicer layouts later once I just want to get an idea of what's going on here. So we're going to name the button actually I'll call this playlist URL input. And we're going to call this button simply URL input button. Just call this OK for now. And then how do I want to display the information? Do I want to just have a bunch of text blocks? So let's create a row. And we're going to set this to row 0, column 0. It's fine. I think I'll just create some text blocks. Actually, let's get a stack panel. This can be all organized nicely. And we want it in row 1, which is the second row. Except we don't want any height or anything. Just want it to fill the whole thing. Now, inside of this stack panel, we will put some text blocks. Hopefully that goes inside the stack panel. It does. I'm actually going to need several stack panels But I can do that later. Okay, so this is going to be playlist title, I guess. Let's just keep this simple, and I can kind of design it later. Text, we can change that later, but I can just say and I think I want a text box. It's going to be read only. Okay, now I need another stack panel. Let's use the outline here to change things around. I'm going to change this to orientation horizontal. And what's going on here? Ah, because it has a height, which I do not want. We're going to need to have a margin. Not 110. I also want this to be bold because it's kind of like a heading. And this is going to be a read-only text box. Let's see if I can set that now. I forget where you set that. Probably miscellaneous. It's read-only. It's read-only caret visible. I don't remember how to set it read-only. Check it out later, I guess. Okay. I'm just going to copy this. And I probably am not, there's no need to really have title like that. But for now, that's fine. So the next one is going to be owner, I guess. Add heading to this. I guess I should have do like to sort of say what kind of control it is, so it's easier to kind of know what's going on. I'll be using binding, so I don't actually need to use these names personally, but whatever. And we're going to say so this grid should have a margin. so everything's not perfectly up against the edge. Maybe it should be 10 though. Okay, this is looking really ugly so far, but that's fine. Title, the owner, number of videos. This is all just going to be very rough just to start with. And then we will see reviews. Yeah, invalid market because I've got multiple elements with the same name. So we're going to call this playlist. What was I doing? Oh, playlist views. I do need to say playlist. Otherwise, there's going to be some confusion because I want to say the actual number of views of every video. That's going to be another control. Last updated. Whoa, what happened there? Last updated, and check what else we're going to be showing. Total and average duration of all views. I'm just going to create the UI for the total. And I'll figure out how I'm going to display average later. Okay, so what was I doing? Duration, number of views, and number of comments. Views. Okay. Really ugly looking, but this is a start. So we've got the text box where we can input the URL. Let's make this properly in a stack panel. Resident states, stack panel. Give me a stack panel. Whoops. Dang it. Really goofed up there, but fortunately this way of changing things around is a lot easier than having to copy code. Alright, so let's see what's going on here. I think things got a little bit screwed up when I screwed up the positioning. So let's change these row definitions. Oops. That can be like 30 pixels. And this will be just... No, that's not what I wanted. Guess this will be 1 star, and it can just take up... No. Where's that 30 star? There. Jeez. Keeps changing things around when I don't want it to. We got weird margins here. We need to reset the margins. 0. It's not in the stack panel anymore. Was it ever? 0 this out. Change the orientation of the stack panel as well. Needs to be horizontal. And it looks like it's got a set width. Let's just reset. Put some space in between these. Actually, this does need a... I think it's a width, because right now it's sizing to the content. And I also want to change the content alignment. Or actually, I can just set the alignment of the whole stack panel, and that works fine. Okay, so let's get some space. There. Maybe 350. And let's make it so you cannot resize this window. Save. Load all the changes. And just make sure it runs. It runs. All right. So that's all I'm trying to do for right now. I'm going to call it good for this edition of the project. Moving kind of slowly. But like I said, I'm rusty. It's to be expected. But I'm just going to document this whole process and I thought this was something I wanted to do, and I'm going to try and do this. So I'm going to use what little gusto for life I've got left, if you can even call it that, to make this work. So this is a really ugly interface so far, but don't worry. We'll get something that looks better. Time goes on. So the next part, my goal is to start hooking these things up with basically the YouTube parse library. So we're going to hook up the UI with the view model, start implementing the ability to make the OK button and the text box work, and start the processing. All right. So, goodbye.